So welcome to Bangladesh, and we're very happy to have you in the Dhaka Lit Fest. So just wanted to ask, like, coming to Bangladesh and the Lit Fest for the first time, what has the experience has been so far, being to the Lit Fest and the conversation you had at the Dhaka Lit Fest?
Well, it's been quite enlightening so far. My trip to Bangladesh has always been very enjoyable, and especially with meeting up with some old friends as to when I was here in the the 70s with the coach as coach of Bangladesh. So yeah, I enjoy coming back to Bangladesh.
Excellent. So one of the things that we heard you say mention the festival, because you were the coach of the Bangladesh cricket team from '97 to '99, and you have a lot of friends here. Can you mention who some of those friends are that you're still in touch with and that you'd like to see whenever you come back to Bangladesh?
Well, it's like there's Bobby who's still at the board. There's Ashraf. We actually plan to go and see one of the members of the board who was very instrumental when I was here. Sad, because I believe that he's not well. So I've been trying to get to see him for the last 2-3 days. So today, I think I have that opportunity. So I go and pay my respects and say hello, because we've been friends since I came to Bangladesh, and yes, I'd like to sort of see him before I leave.
It's wonderful to hear. So, I know you mentioned that you do try to follow cricket from time to time, especially if a particular player that you find interesting. So you'd like to see how that player is performing. Is there in recent times you've seen any player from Bangladesh that you've kind of followed in the past 10 years or since you coached after that you've enjoyed and following their game?
I haven't seen many players, to tell you the honest truth. I do know of Saki. They play in the Caribbean Premier League, but I haven't seen many of the other players, unfortunately.
Okay. So one question that was asked to you earlier today was that you grew up in Barbados and then you moved to England in your teenagers, and you of course played county cricket in England and your formative year for cricket, and you chose to play for West Indies. And I know the question was asked. I know it was a great answer what you gave about batting with Jeff Boycott might have been a different option, but if it was today, let's say even from I guess your fellow country person Jofra Archer. He decided to play for England. Today's English team, which plays kind of the most attacking cricket in the world, do you feel if it was today, you would consider playing for West Indies, or maybe it would be England now?
That's a loaded question. I have no idea. I don't know which way I would have chosen, but I think you will have to look at West Indies still first. I mean, as I mentioned, I believe that whether it's male or female, they want to represent their country.
Right.
And their first choice will also be West Indies, I think.
Absolutely. So I understand your love for Test cricket. Myself, of course, that is the real cricket. It is not about Test cricket. I enjoy Test cricket even today. But a lot of fans always talk about, if you were around for the T20 nowadays, you would have been one of the greatest T20 batsmen. I'm sure you've heard this also again and again. So my question would be, if you had the opportunity to play T20, because you and Desmond Haynes played amazing opening partnership you had as attacking cricketers. My question would be, from the era when you didn't have players who were playing T20, if you chose the first 5 or 6 batsmen that would play for your top order, well, let's say it was West Indies, who would you choose to play for a T20 match?
It's a very big if. There's a variety of combination you can use of like those players that played in the 70s and 80s that I played with. Many of them played for a very long period, and some went in and out. Not often, but they played and then they had a break and then play again. So the whole structure of it back then was very different. And it was one where the team kept the same nucleus of players for 16, 17 years, unchanged. So I couldn't nominate just 6 players because I just feel that they would all make the grade at some stage or another. So just choosing 6 players out of the group wouldn't be easy. So yeah, I would definitely want that group and want to play with that group. But I couldn't just nominate 6 players out of such a good participating bunch of me. The cricket was wholesome.
Yes.
You know, they loved the game, and of course, they had a aura about them, and that positiveness is perhaps what took the team through for all those years unbeaten.
Absolutely. I think you could just say that the 11 that you had then, any of them could basically, the whole same team could play the Test cricket or T20 even today. Because it was
That's
such
what
a-
I just said.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, I wanted to ask you, I think West Indies cricket, the love for cricket in Bangladesh, your teammates and that West Indies cricket had, just like the World Cup football just happened, the Brazil of the 80s or Argentina, Maradona, they kind of made Bangladesh fall in love with football. Same with a lot of Bangladeshi fans are for that West Indian cricket, and we kind of missed that golden era of West Indian cricket. What do you feel? And West Indies has done well in recent times, also at times, even in Test cricket or even in, but not to that level. What do you think needs to change, or how do you feel that maybe West Indies cricket can also again come back? And we hope that it will.
Well, the thing is consistency. You win the odd match, whether it's a test match or whether it's a 50-over match or 20 overs. You want to be consistent. And that is something that has not been happening with the team. It has been too irregular, and I think the players themselves need to be more proactive in what they do and take more responsibility about their own game. And you don't see enough individual performances, which obviously is going to transform itself into the team. And once that happens, then you'll probably find that the competition, the standard will raise. And I have to say too that the standard of cricket in the Caribbean has dropped quite a bit, which probably says that the players themselves in playing international cricket at the standard they're playing at is not quite good enough at the moment. If that needs to change as well too. And of course, if the standard of the regional cricket play raises, then it would raise the standard of international cricket.
Absolutely. Thank you. My last question. You talked about Eye on the Ball, and that is also the book that's coming out with Yusuf Abu in Bangladesh. So my question is to 12-year-old or 15-year-old, whether it's in Bangladesh, whether it's in the Caribbean, what's the advice you would say in the modern day cricket? You know what happens is I see even young kids, everyone wants it. It's a 6, everyone wants the T20 and that excitement. But anyone that wants to become maybe a professional cricketer and is taking it seriously, what would be your advice to the 12-year-old kid or whoever, boy or girl, wanting to become a professional cricketer?
Can I quote the cover of the book?
Absolutely.
Keep your eyes on the ball.
Great answer. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Gordon.
Right.